today and a southwest wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. There might be a shower thunderstorm late tonight, and the temperature overnight with partly to mostly cloudy skies in the low 70s. A 30-40% coverage of showers and thunderstorms Friday and Friday night, and the temperature Friday will range from 82 to 88. Showers and thunderstorms will be isolated over the weekend. Jonesboro's community radio station, we're KLEK 102.5 FM.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Former cricketer Imran Khan looks set to win Pakistan's national election but come up short of an overall majority. There's been a delay in counting. Russia's foreign ministry is accusing Washington of living in another reality. This after comments made by the US Secretary of State about Crimea. And European car makers are breathing a sigh of relief after the EU managed to persuade US President Donald Trump not to impose an import tax on cars.
It's 9:01.
Community Conversations is brought to you by Arkansas Early Learning, offering no-cost childcare in Jonesboro and Northeast Arkansas. Applications at arearlylearning.org.
Arkansas Early Learning is a nonprofit organization.
KLEK LP Jonesboro, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council. It's now time for Community Conversations, a program focusing on the people working to make the Jonesboro community a better place, while offering viewpoints from all sides of the issues. The views expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of KLEK 102.5 FM, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council, or our underwriters or sponsors.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Thursday to you. I hope that you're having a great start to your day. You're tuned in to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. My special guests today are Mr. Christopher Russell and Ms. Heather Owens. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
They are from the organization called Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America. I am very happy to have you all here. They recently participated in our Juneteenth event to share information concerning their organization, but I want to bring them on to go more in detail because I didn't get to have a real conversation with you because I was busy on the other side of the park. But I want you all to share with the community what you do, what education you provide, and then how you just try to really reach out to the community members here in Jonesboro, Arkansas. And before we get into the details of the organization, I would love for you all to please introduce yourself. So we'll start ladies first. I'm sorry, Christopher. Ladies first. Ms. Heather. So tell us more about yourself and what role you play with the organization. How long have you been with the organization?
Let's see. My name is Heather Owens. I'm an attorney and small business owner here in Jonesboro. I have two daughters, one that's entering high school and one that's still in intermediate school. I was a founding member of the Moms Demand Action group here in Jonesboro. We met for the first time back in November, is that right? After the Las Vegas shooting. And I basically was just tired of not being able to do anything about this problem. And when the moms group got together, I just happened to see a post about it on Facebook and thought, hey, that's something I care about, something I can do to get involved. So I showed up the first time and I've been coming back ever since. Right now I'm a membership co-lead, so if you need any information about moms, feel free to reach out.
Okay, well, thank you so much for that. All right, Mr. Christopher.
My name is Christopher Russell. I actually joined them after the Parkland shooting in February. I was actually in the middle of trying to figure out what to give up for Lent. And this happened, and for me it was just the tipping point. I had an uncle that was killed with a gun, and so just all the other just instances in our country that just got stockpiled on top of it. And when February happened, I couldn't just sit around and do nothing anymore. So I showed up for the vigil, and I've been involved with them ever since, and I'm now the chapter leader here in Jonesboro.
All right, so that's wonderful. Thank you all for putting this organization together and for deciding to join and work with this organization. We need to have more discussions. We see in the news, people start to have a discussion about gun laws, gun control, just anything surrounding guns, ownership, and then some people are all for whatever the discussion is. Some people shy away. Some people get really in their feelings and angry and draw back without having real discussions. And so I'm not going to say nothing's getting done. I'm not going to overspeak my knowledge of what's happening. However, from my perspective, there's still work that needs to be done. I want to read this statement right quick before we get deeper into the discussion. Much like MADD, which is Mothers Against Drunk Driving, was created to reduce drunk driving, Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America was created to demand action from legislators, state and federal companies, and educational institutions to establish common sense gun reform. Now, I want to give this disclaimer. Even though it's stated in the beginning of the show, everything discussed here are the views of the guests. So what they say is their opinion. What I say is my opinion, and it does not necessarily reflect on the opinion. It's not their opinions of KLEK. I know people have varied emotions when it comes to talking about guns and ownership, control, and everything in between. So let's just kind of jump right into
jump right in the fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. So currently, right now, what is mom's? I'm sorry, Moms Demand Action. What issues are you all, I guess, fighting for, or what's on the top of the discussion list that you are trying to pose to our current legislators?
The current thing right now is whether arming teachers in schools is a good thing or a bad thing. We, at the beginning of this year, Asa Hutchinson put together a panel of legislators that are working to try to see if there is any sort of way that they can stop gun violence in schools, and that is one of the things that they are discussing right now. And something as a college student, I feel is a horrible idea. We have statistics that show that more guns in a situation do not help. The mere presence of a gun in a situation turns deadly very quickly and very often.
Yes, we have seen that recently. There was a story on Facebook on the news. It happened in Florida where a man was killed simply, well, I'm not going to say simply. We couldn't hear what was actually said. All we saw was the actions that were taken. There was an altercation and one person got shot and later died. So are those similar issues that you all talk about as for what can happen when there are guns present in certain situations?
Yes. Currently in Florida, there is a stand your ground law. And if that sounds familiar, it should. That is what the defense took on with the Trayvon Martin case. So in a situation of stand your ground laws, you do not have the requirement to retreat from a situation. So stand your ground essentially means that you stand your ground, and you can exert that violent force, whether it be a gunshot or anything, in order to protect yourself. So what we see in Florida, Everytown for Gun Safety is who we partner with, and they recently released a statement about it, which is essentially that stand your ground laws do not work. We have statistics here in front of me that after Martin's death in Florida, the state issued a task force that looked and assessed the situation to see how it affected public safety. Okay. And they found that the stand your ground laws, the states that have them, saw a 53% increase in gun homicides deemed justifiable, and compared with the 5% decrease in states that did not have them. So, we do know that they do not work, but what happened in Florida was tragic and very sad, and our heart goes out.
And I'm sure there are many more stories across the nation just like that. We just don't hear about them every day unless you watch news 24/7 or you're on social media 24/7. I'm sure there are more stories like that. And I can't say that they could have been prevented because, again, I wasn't there. We weren't there. We just don't know what was actually said, what escalated the situation, things of that nature. I would just like to see more reform, I guess is the word, to some of the current laws. Again, I'm not a legislator. I'm not in that field. But as a parent and as a resident of this community, I know there's some things that probably can be improved upon. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Well, there is no just one way to fix gun violence. It is a community conversation. It is a state and federal conversation. It's multiple things can help, help the situation, and that's sort of what Moms Demand Action pushes for. It's pushing for those conversations where it needs to be, and we acknowledge that there's no one way to fix it, but we are there for the fight.
Okay, and I want to say this: I am not for taking away anyone's rights to own guns. Go for it. I grew up in the country in a rural area. We had shotguns. I learned how to actually shoot. I'm just not a personal fan of owning a gun myself at this point in my life, but I am in no way trying to stand in the way of anyone else in their rights. However, I would just like to see more individuals be more responsible when it comes to their guns that they own. We've also seen stories of, I saw one less than a month ago, a young child actually shot another child, or we see stories of a child shooting themselves because they got their hands on a gun that was supposedly in a lockbox or put away or somewhere. So again, these type of discussions need to happen, not after the fact. I am taking a class right now on social disasters, and so there's a lot of talk about, okay, some agencies want to be active after. They want to put plans in place after a disaster happens. Let's start working on before. Same thing with guns, ownership, gun violence, whatever the case may be. Let's start working on these mitigation plans before a tragedy happens.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there. I just want to point out, guns, it's such a hot button issue. Like you said, people get all up in their feelings and get angry. And I think we need to ratchet the rhetoric down a little bit. And I just want to state for the record that Moms Demand Action is pro Second Amendment. We are not advocating that anyone have their guns taken away. We are not against gun ownership. My husband hunts. We have guns. I personally don't own a gun. There is no problem with that. Responsible gun ownership is the message that we preach. So I think that immediately when you start talking about gun issues, tempers flare, people get very defensive. Moms Demand Action is simply a group of moms and dads and uncles and brothers who want to see a ratcheting down of the rhetoric and push for more responsible gun legislation. Our main issue is gun violence, not gun ownership. I cannot stress that enough. So, advocating for responsible gun laws and the Second Amendment is absolutely not mutually exclusive. Okay. There's not either or. You can definitely be both, and I am a perfect example of that. So I just want to get that out there.
Yeah, and we also are there for that conversation too. We know it's a hot button issue, and like I said before, we're there in the community in all aspects of it, and we have a Be Smart program, and that is geared towards gun owners, helping them with storing it, and helping them with sort of the education of putting gun locks on them and keeping out the hands of children in the household.
Okay. Now, I don't know what the process is for, purchasing a gun. One part I do know is that some people have to go, I don't know if you have to go through like a background check or something. Mm-hmm. There's a waiting period before you can actually get your gun and get your license. And are people required to go through any type of classes like concealed carry, any type of education class on how to handle a gun?
So, no. Whenever you purchase a gun, it's for your own personal use. Only if you are
wanting to conceal carry.
Yeah,
Okay.
you have to go through those classes.
Okay. So, have you all discussed within the organization, maybe should there be some reform with that particular rule or law or legislation? Should everyone who applies for a gun, whether it's concealed carry, keeping it at home in a lockbox, should they have to still go through some type of education course? 1 day, 2 hours, I don't know, you know.
I don't know. I have conflicted feelings about that. It would be nice, you know, to do it, but a lot of gun owners that I know, that's sort of their hobby, you know, is sort of, you know, buying it for personal use and for protection. I mean, it wouldn't be bad just for an individual to learn how to use a gun whenever they purchase one, but as far as forcing them to do that, I think that kind of encroaches on their on their.
Well, and I fall personally on the side that there's no such thing as too much education.
Yeah.
So if that would be a bonus in my book, but again, requiring that's an entirely different matter.
I mean, when you get your license to drive a car, you have to take a test.
Right.
So, I mean, again, I'm not like you. I'm Miss Heather. I'm not trying to push things on people and say you have to do this and that in order to do X, Y, Z. But why not educate yourself? Why not go to the shooting range and learn how to properly handle, you know, where the safety is, all the different parts, how to take the gun apart, blah, blah, blah. So anyway.
That would definitely not be a bad thing.
All right. We have some Facebook comments.
Okay.
I want to say good morning to Rebecca Laurel. And then, all right, Miss Morgan Lanier. Please forgive me, Morgan, if I messed up your last name. She says, given the numerous statistics on the racial bias and unfair treatment of children of color in America's school system, what does arming teachers and staff mean for the safety of those children who are often subject to harsher treatment and often gun violence? And then she also says, hello, Kate. Good morning. Christopher, it's nice to see you again.
That's a great question.
Yeah,
and
it
that's
is.
sure something that that's an issue that moms is keeping tabs on closely.
Morgan, hi. And that's something that we talked about at Juneteenth as well. We have statistics that say that for people of color in schools, especially for Black girls, that the way that schools are structured, the way that society views Black women and Black girls is it's very detrimental to their growth. In school, so Black boys in school are about 4 times more likely to be suspended than white boys, and with Black girls, just depends on what statistic that you go by. It shows that 4% to 6% of Black girls are more likely to be suspended than white girls. So, there's that stereotype that, Black girls are loud, that they start things, and, it's detrimental to their growth, It's not right. And what that does, having more guns in the situation, it just increases that school to prison pipeline. It also sort of enforces the idea that, they're not good for anything. And so, they drop out of school, it's very detrimental to...
Where there's the pipeline for criminalizing in-school behavior, which is, I think, a huge issue in the minority community, that it's a pipeline from school discipline to prison. And that goes into just a whole nother social justice reform issue. But yeah, that's a serious concern, and we're doing great injustice in that area, I believe.
Those are the things that I learned. I took criminology and juvenile delinquency last semester, and those are the things that, were discussed, how children, yes, in particular minority children, but all children, no matter their ethnicity, their behavior, depending on what it is. If it's unsavory to the teacher or administrator, they start to criminalize that child, and then they start to label them. And if a juvenile adolescent hears a certain label over and over again, well, then they internalize it and they take it as their truth. And then they just say, okay, well, why should I even bother going to school, being a good student, productive student, if this is what they already think of me? So we as adults, the elders of the community, people that are in charge or position of authority, we have to change the narrative and our approach to how we deal with the adolescents in our community. We say that they are our future, then why don't we treat them like that, and instill in them the proper tools that they need to be successful, productive, healthy, mentally, emotionally healthy, people.
And I think the so-called quote-unquote militarization of our schools will only push us further in the wrong direction on that issue.
We're going to get into that. We're going to take a quick break. I don't want us to get cut off on that discussion because, yes, that has been discussed as well. I just want to say good morning also to Miss Christy Mathis-Conway, Miss Lachey Robinson, who says good morning, Christopher.
Hey.
And to Miss Rebecca Teeter-Long. I want to thank everyone for checking in. Please share this video. Please drop your comments in our comment box. Or if you want to give us a call, the phone lines are open. 870-277-1080. We're going to take a quick break, and please do not go anywhere. We'll be right back after these announcements. We're going to continue this conversation. This is a hot topic, but the conversation has to start somewhere, with like-minded individuals or different-minded individuals. So anyway, we'll be right back after these announcements.
You're listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
Is your spouse hearing what you're saying? I'm Mark Merrill with today's Family Minute. Recently, I said something to my wife that I thought was harmless. I don't even remember what it was. I was surprised when she didn't respond favorably. I asked her what I said wrong. She said, "It's not what you said, it's how you said it." She couldn't have been more correct. How we say things is so important. When communicating with your spouse, remember your tone. Is it soft or harsh? Second, remember your body language. Are your arms open or folded? Third, remember your attitude. Is it inviting or repelling? For more on communication and marriage, listen to this week's podcast episode at markmerrill.com. Remember, your family first.
Family Minute is made possible by the Kappa Nu Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, a non-profit organization committed to service to all mankind. Kappa Nu Omega Alpha Kappa Alpha on Facebook and KNOMEGA1908.com.
Family Minute is brought to you by the Gears Foundation, a non-profit organization providing students with assistance in their academic and career pursuits. Gears Foundation on Facebook, Gears_Inc. on Instagram, and the Gears Foundation at gmail.com.
Meineke of Jonesboro is now Starks Auto Service, a full-service auto repair and vehicle maintenance center offering engine and transmission repair, brake service, tires, oil changes, and more, performed by ASE certified mechanics. Starks Auto Service, 2813 South Caraway Road in Jonesboro, 870-204-7112. Starks Auto Service, Jonesboro.com.
The Office of Diversity and Community Engagement at Arkansas State University, under the leadership of Dr. Maurice Gibson, is a proud supporter of KLEK and is dedicated to finding innovative ways to advance their mission of creating a diverse and inclusive environment, conducive to educating, enhancing, and enriching lives, uplifting various and diverse groups, on the A-State campus and striving to maintain Arkansas State University, a place that is inclusive to all individuals regardless of origin, color, religion, socioeconomic status, or sexual orientation. More information about the Arkansas State University Office of Diversity and Community Engagement is available at www.astate.edu/diversity and 870-972-3081.
Hello, I'm Officer Victoria Evans. I have always had a desire to help others in need and to be an example and role model to young women by encouraging them to never give up on their dreams. My dream was to become a police officer and to serve my community. In 2016, that dream became a reality, and it is the most rewarding experience of my life. Now I want to let you know about the same opportunity. The Jonesboro Police Department will conduct testing every month for patrol officers. Applications are available online at jonesboropolice.com or at the Police Department, 1001 South Caraway Road. The Jonesboro Police Department offers a competitive salary, health, and retirement benefits, top-of-the-line training, and most importantly, the chance to make a difference in the Jonesboro community. Join me in making Jonesboro a better place. The Jonesboro Police Department is an equal opportunity employer, and women and minorities are especially encouraged to apply. More information is available at 870-935-5657.
The Epic Center, located at 1899 Hasbrook Road, County Road 333, is Jonesboro's newest venue for entertainment for the entire family. They offer an auditorium with theater-style seating for up to 1,100 guests, a large stage, professional lighting and sound, dressing rooms, concessions, and more. Available for weddings, concerts, pageants, birthday parties, showers, and more. Booking and other information is available at Epic Center Jonesboro on Facebook, epiccenterjonesboro.com, and at 870-530-5841.
We at KLEK would like to extend a sincere thank you to all of our underwriters and sponsors. If you would like to sponsor or underwrite our programming and help us to educate, entertain, and empower the community, our number is 870-203-9951. Our email address is klek1025fm@gmail.com. The website address is klekfm.org. Again, thank you for listening.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
All right, welcome back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. I'm your host, Quabila Jones, and my special guests today are Mr. Christopher Russell, and is it Ms. or Mrs.?
Mrs. But
Mrs. Heather Owen.
I'll answer anything.
Okay. They are here representing Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America. Okay, we have a Facebook comment, and then we're going to get back into our conversation that we ended on concerning, military personnel and Army teachers and things of that nature in the school system. Miss Rebecca Teeter Long says, "Good morning, Christopher and Heather. Great to see you. Thank you for educating our community about gun safety and responsible gun ownership and gun safety legislation. We appreciate you." Thank you very much, Miss Rebecca, for that.
Well, we thank you, Rebecca.
And then Miss Holly Lee Ann Maple Atkinson says, "Good morning to you too. You guys are doing moms proud." And good morning to Miss Chelsea Chapman. Thank you everybody for checking in. All right, so we're not going to waste more time. Let's get back into our discussion. So we left off talking about, militarizing schools. There's been a lot of talk about after the fact, after these variety of school shootings, now possibly arming teachers with guns. we've seen some scenarios, what they call the computer-generated scenarios, what could possibly happen. Some are not always great. And again, when you create a computer-generated scenario, you're not factoring in the actual human response. A computer cannot dictate human response to the situation. There's been talk about possibly adding more SROs or adding military personnel to the schools. Now, for me, again, on the outside looking in, that would kind of be my option. My choice that I would lean toward people who are already trained to operate a gun. However, there's still some pros and cons to look at in that situation. So please tell us, from your organization perspective, what are some things you all have discussed, and what is your take on how possibly, we can make our school safer?
So, teachers, they aren't trained in combat. They're not trained on de-escalating a situation like a police officer would. But, more guns in a shootout is
not a
damage.
good idea.
Yeah. So, schools need to be a place for learning. It doesn't need to be at the point that it is today. And, there's a lot of talk about, would hiring SROs work? And on one hand, you're providing, you're providing more guns in schools, and you're also, who may or may not be targeting people of color. And so with that in mind, there are schools that have had mass shootings happen to them that there were SRO officers there, and it didn't really make a difference. They know that they're there. Yeah. They can shoot them first, and in some instances, like in Parkland, the SRO officers may not be anywhere around the scene that they need to be. So, we advocate for passing more common sense legislations to keep it happening in the first place. Okay. And like you said, that is something that we desperately need. And right now we are discussing red flag laws and ERPA laws. And ERPA laws are extreme risk protection orders. And do you want to talk about them, as you know a little bit?
Sure, yeah. Red flag laws and ERPOs kind of go hand in hand. What they do is they operate kind of like a protection order in a domestic violence situation. Okay. When a family member or law enforcement sees certain red flags, if they believe that an individual poses a significant risk to themselves or others, it allows a family member or law enforcement to petition the court to issue a restraining order, in essence, so that the individual cannot purchase a handgun or lawfully have a handgun. You hear lots of lawmakers say that this deprives individuals of their, due process to take away, their guns, because that's, Second Amendment allows you to have a gun. That this would violate due process. However, emergency orders, which are issued ex parte, which means that they would be issued without the individual being present, are only good for a short period of time, usually about 10 days, before a full hearing has to be held to determine whether or not the restraining order should be continued. And a full hearing requires both parties. So that would be the person who is accused of being a danger to themselves or others, as well as whoever is asking for the order. So all in all, I believe as an attorney that there are no due process arguments here. If someone is an extreme risk to themselves or others, that is a good way to take guns away from someone who already has them or prevent them from purchasing a handgun. So red flag laws have been enacted in 22 states now, I believe. There are bills being drafted in Arkansas for the next legislative session, which Moms is 100% behind. And so, yeah, that would just be a good way to prevent guns from being in the hands of someone who might commit a shooting at a school. Honestly, Moms is completely against arming teachers. Teachers don't want to be armed. Arkansas Teachers Associations are against it. Law enforcement personnel is against it. School resource officer organizations are against it. Parents are against it. Mom's position is that if a gun makes its way into the school, we've already failed. We should be doing everything we can on the front end to prevent that gun from ever getting into that school in the first place. So that's what we're working on. That's what we're working. We're working on making sure that gun never gets there in the first place. I think being proactive is much better in this situation than being reactive.
Okay. Now, what about in situations? You talked about if you try to, I'm going to say regulate, who can purchase a gun, who can own one, based on, say, proven or diagnosed, say, mental health or some type of behavior that is detrimental to themselves or to others. Should there be more work done to, okay, let's either one, get the people the help they need, or let's also work toward amending or I don't know the exact words, to adjusting, rewrite. I don't want to say rewriting the laws, but okay, we have the guns on one hand, gun issues, but then we have the person's mental capacity or their, whatever the case may be. On the other hand, they're not necessarily mutually exclusive, but they are so separate issues.
They are separate issues, but they do affect each other. And mental health, unfortunately, this devolves into a discussion of health care and access to mental health care. And so this particular issue, when someone is mentally unstable or has mental issues and poses a risk to themselves or others, it does actually affect other things like the healthcare debate in our country and who has access to quality mental health care and just mental health care in general, because there is such a stigma associated with mental health. So that's just another barrier that we have to overcome to make sure that people who need help have access to it and are able to get it. And that encompasses a broader issue that also needs to be worked on.
I know one thing that was discussed, especially after the Parkland shooting, some said that there were signs that something was wrong with this young man and he may have had mental health issues, or there are other things surrounding his family life. Okay, some people said they tried to speak up, they were shut down. Some people said that others in authority knew he had issues and did nothing about it. Okay, that has been a discussion that has come up, but it rises and it kind of dies down, with the tide. So, okay, what can be done or what needs to be done? I know discussion was had about, well, if we basically point this person out for having these issues, then it's like we're putting a target, like we're putting them out there, to be scrutinized. But would you rather them be scrutinized? I don't know how to handle this situation.
Well, in that case, there wasn't. I'm not 100% familiar with I'm not personally involved with that case or what happened leading up to it. But from my understanding, there were issues. They were reported. However, Florida had no vehicle to prohibit the young man from obtaining a weapon. Since Parkland, Florida, which is a Republican-controlled governor and state legislature, has passed a red flag law. So now someone in that situation could apply for an extreme risk protection order to take away that person's guns, or they would be flagged if they applied to buy a gun and they would not pass a background check. So that has happened in Republican-controlled Florida since the Parkland shooting. So before the shooting, there was no vehicle to do anything about this, or the authorities had no vehicle to do anything about this. Now they do.
From a lawyer's perspective, having had studied the law inside and out, do you feel that at some point we in the United States of America, we need to adopt a universal law system or something, legislation, each state has their own legislation based on their needs or the, I don't know, whoever's in the house at the time. Do you feel, can you kind of give your argument for yay or nay if we should have a universal system in place that says across state A to Z, this is how we're going to handle these situations?
Oh, there are so many obstacles to that question.
Sorry.
Yes. I mean, as a mom and a parent, and personally, especially on a gun issue, I believe that laws should be pretty uniform, because now federal law is even trying to pass the Concealed Carry Reciprocity Act, which means that for instance, I'm not saying this is probably not accurate, but in Texas, just for instance, if you can carry a gun, carry a gun anywhere, you can take it to church, you can take it to your kid's daycare teacher could have it. Anything. If Concealed Carry Reciprocity passes, a Texas resident who has a license to carry under those circumstances in Texas would also be allowed to carry under those circumstances in Arkansas, even though that's not the law here. But there are constitutional protections that probably would not allow universal gun laws. The Commerce Act. I mean, there's so many different things at play in the law that make that virtually make it impossible. And we are a republic, so a democratic republic, which allows states to pass their own laws. And I mean, honestly, that's probably a good thing. But on a personal level, I would love to see a universal gun legislation with responsible gun laws. But on the other hand, it could also end up being very bad for So there are two sides to that coin, aside from constitutional protections.
Okay. I know at times I live in this utopian bubble. I would like to, but I know that is not the reality of the land that we live in, and I would just still like to see more things change or be reformed. I'm going to use the word reformed, redesigned, just to serve the people.
And that's what MOM stands for. We are not for gun prohibition at all. We are for common sense, gun reform, safe storage laws, proactive policies to prevent gun violence. That's all we stand for. I think there is a place to meet in the middle.
And there are ways to fix it, too, in all just aspects of government. Like the federal, for instance, you have to be 21 years old to buy a handgun, but at the age of 18, you can buy an assault rifle in most states. Wow. And so, I mean, there are things federally we can do, and we also put pressure on corporations to do the same. Walmart just passed their 21 age policy after Parkland, and
Dick's started. Dick's Sporting Goods stopped selling assault rifles, which is amazing. There are so many steps in the right direction.
We have another Facebook comment from Rebecca Laurel. She says, guns are such a fraught topic these days. Thank you to all of you for modeling how to talk about guns. I believe that people of all political backgrounds really can come together around keeping our children safer and advocating for responsible gun ownership. And that's why I support Moms Demand Action.
Yay! That's awesome.
Thank you so much for that, Miss Rebecca. I would love to see more and more people get involved in your organization. So let's talk about that. How can people who want to start having these discussions become more involved? And it's okay if you have a different opinion than someone. All opinions are welcome, but let's try to reach a mature decision. Come to some mature decisions.
And Moms Demand Action too. We have gun owners that are there. I mean, we have so many different opinions within our
Republicans, Democrats, Independents,
everybody.
Yes,
and they all help weigh into sort of a diverse narrative of what Moms is and what we will be in the future. And I'm so grateful for that. So if you want to get involved, you just whip out your phone, you text NOW to 64433. And again, that is NOW to 64433. And if you have Facebook, go to the Arkansas Moms Demand Action Facebook page and give them a like, and you'll be able to follow and keep in touch with what the Arkansas chapters are doing. Right now we have, I think it is 12 chapters.
Maybe 12.
We added
El Dorado, yes.
Yes. So we have 12 chapters in Arkansas now, but if you want to get involved with the Jonesboro chapter, just send them a Facebook message on the Arkansas State page, and they can get you connected with us.
We do have monthly meetings. So
yes, we do have monthly meetings.
Here in Jonesboro, we'd love for any and all of you to come be a part of it. There's going to be lots of stuff for us to do moving forward, and we would love for all of you to get involved.
Now, I would love to see more parents especially get involved. And unfortunately, we're having this discussion about school shootings because that's where we see the majority, what we have seen. Me personally, again, I don't watch the news 24/7. I know all types of things happen everywhere among different age groups and ethnicities. However, I have seen more school shootings than I really care for, period.
Mm-hmm.
And this year alone, I did some statistics when I was taking criminology. I want to say it was before the summer even hit, there were almost 100 incidences where there was a gun involved in a school, whether it was a mass shooting or individual shooting. We have to find a way, and I say we as a community, as a nation, have to find a way to come together, have these discussions and make some reform, and push our legislatures to make the right choices for us, the people that live in these different areas.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get off my soapbox.
You just stay up there, girl. It's okay.
Yeah.
I know. Again, I have varying views, and maybe it's just a sociologist in me. And I want to ask Christopher this before the show ends. You're studying social work, so how do you feel that one, what you're learning through this organization will benefit you as you move into your career field?
There's such a disparity whenever you talk about gun violence. Like you said, our narrative right now in the nation is school shootings, and it shouldn't be. Of course, that is the one thing that everyone can jump on and, hash out together. But, Black Americans make up 14% of the population, and 6% of that population is Black men. Okay. And Black men make up just over 50% of all gun victims. And and you see disparities like that in access to mental health, and just all of that. So my mom's is sort of helping me learn a little bit about what others are going through, and sort of like diversifying my education to help different communities whenever I get out.
All right. Thank you. All right, so we're going to take another quick break. When we come back, we'll wrap up some information and give more details about the meetings and, again, how people can get involved. Stay tuned. You don't want to miss the end of the show because we're going to give out some contact information. You tune in to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
We're back with Money Matters. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. Technology giant Apple Inc. has been ordered to pay at least $32.5 million in consumer refunds to settle Federal Trade Commission charges that it billed parents for items their children purchased in mobile apps without their permission. The FTC says Apple failed to alert parents that entering a password would result in approval of up to 15 minutes of unlimited in-app purchases. Parents were unaware of the charges, which mostly consisted of payments for virtual currency used in games. This currency can cost anywhere from $1 to $100 per charge. One unlucky parent discovered her daughter had spent $2,600 on one app. Apple responded to the complaints it has received by agreeing to adjust their billing practices. The company will take measures to make sure it has obtained proper consent from consumers before charging them for items sold in mobile apps. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. for Money Matters, a product of American Urban Radio Networks.
Money Matters is made possible by the Jonesboro Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, a nonprofit organization dedicated to uncompromising commitment to communities, service, leadership, empowerment. www.jonesboroalumnidst.org.
Money Matters is brought to you by the Gears Foundation, a nonprofit organization providing students with assistance in their academic and career pursuits. Gears Foundation on Facebook, Gears_Inc. on Instagram, and the Gears Foundation at gmail.com.
Money Matters is brought to you by Bancorp South, offering checking, savings, loans, credit cards, and wealth management. 5 locations in Jonesboro to serve you. www.bancorpsouth.com or 870-972-9800.
KLEK is conducting a listener survey that will allow for you to give feedback on the station. The information from responses to the survey will allow us to make KLEK a better radio station for you. The survey is on our website, www.klekfm.org, or if you need a paper copy, you can call the station on our business line, 870-203-9915. We ask that as many listeners as possible fill out the survey so that we may have the best possible feedback to continue to educate, entertain, and empower you and be your radio station. As a token of our appreciation, one lucky person who completes the survey will win $102.50. You must submit your email on the survey in order to qualify to win. The winner will be drawn August 1st. Also, each week in July, a winner will be drawn to win his or her choice of a KLEK coffee mug or hat. Again, the KLEK listener survey is on our website, www.klekfm.org. KLEK thanks everyone for their support.
KLEK thanks CJ Pepper and the staff of Life Strategies Counseling Incorporated for helping people through hard times in life such as depression, family issues, stress, abuse, and more. They offer counseling and therapy for all ages, individuals, families, and groups. They are located at 1217 Stone Street. Phone number 1-866-972-1268 or online at lscihelp.com.
The Mu Omicron Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated was established on January 1st, 1977, originally serving Blytheville, Arkansas, and now serving Jonesboro, Blytheville, Osceola, Marion, and West Memphis, Arkansas. Today, the chapter continues to make an impact by focusing on Alpha's national community outreach initiatives such as My Brother's Keeper, A Voteless People is a Hopeless People, Go to High School, Go to College, Project Alpha, Boy Scouts, and the March of Dimes. The Mu Omicron Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated is committed to Alpha's mission of developing leaders, promoting brotherhood and academic excellence, while providing service and advocacy to the community. More information about the Mu Omicron Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated is available at MOL Alphas on Facebook or via email at molalphas@gmail.com.
The McDaniel Law Firm, 400 South Main Street in Jonesboro, is a firm believer in justice and equality for the minority community. The McDaniel Law Firm has fought for our rights for over 44 years. The McDaniel Law Firm offers legal help for wrongful death as well as trucking and automobile accidents. Bobby and Brett McDaniel are available for a free consultation at 870-336-4747 or at www.mcdaniellawyers.com.
The Black Professionals Network of Jonesboro was incorporated January 2013 with the mission of creating networking opportunities and to create community presence in the Jonesboro area. BPN is a diverse group of professionals established to make Jonesboro an ideal place for people of color and operates under the 4 pillars of Live, Learn, Lead, and Link. BPN meets the 3rd Thursday of every month. More info, Black Professionals Network on Facebook and bpnjonesboro.org.
House of Details, located at 3217 Herb Street, Suite C, is a proud supporter of KLEK, offering detailing on any type of vehicle, waxing, clear coat protection, basic wash, hand wash, shampoo, interior cleaning, buffering, headlight restoration, pickup, delivery, and more. With a motto of, anything mean, we can clean. Details available via Quentin Bogard at 870-273-5187. House of Details on Facebook and houseofdetailsjonesboro.com. Check out Melvin Williams of the Williams Brothers every Sunday morning from 5 to 7 a.m. here on KLEK for the Melvin Williams Down Home Gospel Radio Show, playing the very best in quartet and inspirational gospel music that you'll love, as well as feature interviews with all of your favorite gospel artists. It's Melvin Williams Down Home Gospel Radio Show, Sundays from 5 to 7 a.m. on KLEK 102.5 FM.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
All right, welcome back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. You're tuned in to Community Okay, you're tuned in with me, Kabila Jones. Okay. And Mr. Christopher Russell and Mrs. Heather Owens. All right, so I want to let them wrap up this last segment, share some information they may have missed, and give some contact information and share meeting dates, times, and locations.
So if you want to get involved with us, like I said, just go to your phone and text NOW to 64433.
Do it right now.
Yeah.
Text it right now.
And you can also go to the Arkansas Moms Demand Action page and give them a like and send them a private message, and they can get you tapped in to the Jonesboro chapter. And if you don't want to do all that, you can email me at ctrussell91@gmail.com. And yeah.
All right.
So feel free to just show up to one of our meetings.
Also.
Right now we meet on Tuesdays, but that may change in the future. Right now it's the first Tuesday of the month, but we may have to change that. But kind of pencil that in on your schedule so you know we're there, and if that changes, we'll get that information out in our group messages and stuff if you like the Facebook page.
And then, where do you meet and what time?
So the meat place, we're still undetermined.
Okay.
We have flipped around in the past. It may still be like it was, but we can give you that information out if you reach out to one of us. And we will be posting it as soon as we have a specific date and time. If we are to figure it out when we're going to meet in the future, we'll post all that.
All right, so please get involved. I want to see the whole community of Jonesboro, Cricket County, get involved. This should be very important to you, especially if you have children or have a child in your life. You're the caregiver of a child, whatever the case may be. Have a child in school, and not just in school. And again, this is not about taking away anyone's guns. It's just about looking at the current laws and making some reform, and so that the laws protect the people that it's meant to protect. Bottom line. All right, so I can't thank you all enough for joining me today, and hopefully we'll see you around the community more. Hopefully I'll hear some reports of more people getting involved in your organization. So thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having us,
Kibla.
And hopefully, this won't be your last time. We'll have you come back and give some updates on how things are progressing with the organization. All right, so again, you're tuning into Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. Don't forget, there is a community block party tomorrow hosted by Mrs. Polly's Barbecue. Go out and have fun. Take the whole family. It's going to be in the parking lot next where Teletech is. So go out and join them. You can find information on Facebook, on Mrs. Polly's Facebook page. There's this whole lot of other events going around town this weekend, so a lot of things for the families to get involved in. So back to school is right around the corner, so go have your fun while you still can. All right, and thank you, Miss Rebecca T. to launch this great conversation. Thank you all. Thank you so much. All right, everyone, have a blessed day, and remember to stay hydrated. It's very hot outside. Have a blessed day, everybody.
Thank you for listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM, a program focusing on the people